dog sat on the bug. The bug was red and black.
Good.
I know it. Oh, I know it in every time. After. This way. Paw. After. Fun. I'm mad. Mad.
The first thing we're going to do is we're going to have our sounds. We're going to go over our sounds with the pictures of the sound.
Okay.
What sound does A make?
This one? Ah.
No, yeah, A make ah.
Oh, this?
Ah as in?
Gorilla.
It's a gorilla, but it's an animal. Animal. Say.
Animal.
Okay. What sound does B make?
Bird.
What?
Bird.
What sound does B make?
Bird.
Ba. As in?
Bird.
And?
A balloon.
Okay.
And bugs too.
And bugs. What sound does C make?
She make sheep. Cow.
As in
Cake.
cow and cake. Yeah. What sound does D make?
They make duck. Doctor.
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 Make.
Duck.
Duck. What sound does E make? E and E.
Eel.
As in eel. And E. Key has an E
And
sound
cookie.
in it. And cookie. E sound. But when we first begin, of course they won't know the sounds, so you just say the sounds.
Fist.
Just repeat after me. Fish.
Fish. Giraffe.
Giraffe. Gingerbread. When we first start, we learn one sound, and then as they learn the one sounds, we will add G. The other sounds. What sound does H make? And this is a
Horsey.
and he's wearing a
Hat.
okay. What sound does I make?
I make it. Igloo.
As in igloo, and
Fish.
fish has a I sound in it. What sound does J make?
Jump in the wall.
Jumping rope, and
Jack-o'-lantern. King.
what sound does K make? This is a
King.
king makes a king
Kite.
sound. Kite.
Queen. That is coat.
Yeah, that's a coat. Coat is a C.
A coat.
What sound does M make?
Mouse.
As in
Moo.
and
Mice.
Can you tell me something else that starts with the letter M?
Mat.
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 What else?
Macaroni.
What does Jade give you? He gives you from his pocket.
Money.
Money. When we are very proficient in these, I moved on to simple cards that I made like this. And then we would sound out each letter and then say the word. And I did this for a long while until they were able to get. I started with the 3-letter words, which I think was actually easier than starting with the 2-letter words. Watch. J. A. Jam. B. Bag. Bag.
I was saying the one.
Sap.
Sap when it gets a new hat.
That's right. When it gets gets in your hair. Mm. 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 Na. Ah. Nap. Nap.
Like a vacuum.
Yeah.
Fast.
Ah.
Fast.
Fat.
Like cat. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember how do we remember the sound of the Y? Yeah. How do you remember? Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, like karate. Yeah.
Like punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do we make the sign for E? So we remember that this is a what sound? Eh. And what's the sound? What do you do? What do you do to show, to remember eh? Show. Show. Eh. That's how we remember eh. Not like that. Not like that. This. Okay. Okay. J. Eh. Jet. As in it's very good. Ah. You're not watching the right. Ah. Man.
I was thinking about that.
Well, you should say that.
Can.
Can.
Mad.
Mad.
Sad.
Sad.
Mama.
Mad.
Phone.
Fun.
Don't let me side it.
Hmm?
I want you to flip it over. Fan.
Fan.
Fan. Fun cat.
Yeah.
Cat.
Cat. Cat.
Cat.
Cat. Cat.
What?
Rat. Not rap. Rap. So you get the general idea, and I would do this over and over again. Every day we would have our circle time, our lesson time, and we would go over all of them until they knew them very well.
This side. No, I didn't. Pig.
Can you tell me how old you are?
2.
And how old are you?
4.
Good. Do you like reading?
Yes.
Is reading fun?
Yes.
Okay, so after we got the cards and they know their cards very well, that's the 3-letter words. We will start with the 2-letter words because sometimes the sounds are a little bit different from what you say. So what I did was I made like bingo games that we would play together. Had some chips for everybody to use, and I have 2 sets. So there's quite a bit of them. Of.
This one? I found
Not v. Yeah. No, just one. Okay, next one. Buy.
I can buy.
Buy. Good. So.
I find
So.
That was the one.
2.
It's a 2.
2.
2.
Good. In.
I find it.
In.
I
Good.
found it.
As.
I found as. I found as.
That's not as.
As.
No, yours is right.
Oh, yeah.
Good. Do.
Do. I can do.
Can you do it?
Yes, I can. Do. I
On.
On.
The book is on the table.
I found the book is on the check card.
Did you find on?
Doors.
Where's on? Hurry up. I'm gonna go to the next one.
On. It's on. On.
You didn't find it yet. It's there. Next one.
Is it on? No.
This is on. Oh, yeah.
On.
We did as. Keep it there. At. No,
At.
yeah, at.
At.
Yeah.
Okay.
The cat is at the park.
I got the second stuff.
Yeah. It
It. I found it.
is.
It is. I found it.
Or.
Oh.
Can we get ice cream or
Vanilla.
do you want chocolate or vanilla ice cream?
I want chocolate. I like vanilla.
Okay. After we have learned all of these 2-letter words, I took the 3-letter words and the 2-letter words that they already should know very well by now, and I put them into little ones like this. They're just construction paper to make a whole bunch of different sentences.
It's like a rectangle.
So here is our first sentence down here. So what does that say?
The car is red.
The car is red.
The jet is red.
The jet is red.
The jet is red. Not all jet is red. The bus is red. The bus is red. Everything is red.
Here,
We can see the pig.
good job.
Pig is
So
not
this is what we
red.
would do over and over again many times. Specifically, I would do this separately with the boys because nobody's going to be on the same reading level. So we did this for a really long time. So just try to be consistent and then they will retain information and learn more information. But if you skip days, then it's going to be like they might backslide a little bit, which is normal. You know, the thing is you just have to have patience. You have to be really patient. You know, this is the first time learning how to read, so you know, you just have to be really patient and try not to lose your cool. And if you get irritated or angry, you know, just like take a deep breath and blow it out, and then just keep going and keep going. Repetition. After we did that, then we started with sentences. And this is how I started with sentences. I would write something like this. What does this say?
I will buy cake. I will buy cake at Mommy's. I will buy cake at Only when making minutes, then I want to do it.
Good. So this is how I would start with sentences. I would do one and then add on and add on and add on, so they get used to seeing the word, sounding the word, and
Cake.
start with sentences like this. At this point, I started making my own sentences on a whiteboard, small sentences, and this was pretty good, except sometimes I would waste time because I would think of a sentence. Not that I took 5 minutes, but you're still wasting a bit of time, and then they would get a little bit impatient in between times, so you really had to kind of keep them motivated and keep their attention. So this was a good thing. It was just a different way to not have the same kind of boring way over and over, and this was helpful. And I would just make the same kind of sentences, not like this, but I would just make the full sentence on the whiteboard. Okay, what does that say?
I can see a
Yeah. So I would do one sentences, and then eventually I would write 4 sentences. So I would write little stories and then have them to read the whole. Read it.
I can see a cat. It is what
color is
brown.
it? Brown.
It can go to the sky.
No.
Park. I like the cat.
I like the cat.
I like.
For words like this, like, so they don't get confused with the sounding and what the word is, I will underline. So I've been underlining, and I tell them everything that is underlined you sound out. So I don't underline the E. Obviously you don't sound the E. Like. And that's what I would do for those words to make it much easier to teach them. And also the color words. There was a time when I really focused on making sentences with colors, with the color words. So then they kind of learned by sight what color starts with the letter B, brown or black, but it doesn't look like black, otherwise black would be BL. So they just learned by sight using the first couple words, and that was easy, and they caught up the color words very quickly. Alright, so right now we are pretty much on this step where I wrote out a whole bunch of different little stories and things. So basically I don't have to be there, which is really great. When they're reading, I don't really have to be next to them, but at first of course I was. And for example, I can be doing something, looking over, and they can be reading. I normally don't have them reading at the same table because it just confuses them. So one would read, or another would read, or one would read to my husband and one would read to me. Do you want to see what I made you now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what I made now, actual little booklets. There are many times when I'm doing something and I find it hard to have a full one-on-one lesson with them, or they are just running around and not really, not settled and stuff like that. You know how it is when you have kids and you just want them to sit down and play something quietly. So what I will do, I'll tell them to go get a book. But the books that they've always gotten are a little too hard for them. Like, honestly, they can't read those books yet. So these are the books that I just recently made for them from what they already know. And I put like my own pictures or stickers that I had so that they can actually read these. And I say, go get a book and go sit down and read. So they will read these ones. And this is what they look like. So these are the kinds of books that you can make yourself with the kinds of words they can easily read. Here's one I made. I just took what I had around the house and just pasted it and made a story. It doesn't have to be great or anything. Here's another one, animals big and small. Just using stickers. Just makes it a little bit more interesting for them. And like I said, the words that that they will probably not know or learned, then I would just tell them those words, or they'll get it from what sticker it is. They're really interested in dinosaurs, so this is a dinosaur one. Like I said, the words that they don't know, then I'll just tell them what that is. I'm sure they can know that's dinosaurs because they've seen that word so many times. Another basic little, and then you can also make them with your kids. Like, they colored some pictures and I cut them out and pasted them for them. Very simple, even one word sentences, so at least they can sit down and read by themselves. That is how you can teach your toddlers. I mean, if you can start teaching them pretty soon. Like 2, I started with my younger, and then the older was 3. When I was teaching them at first, I had circle time. So we would sit in a circle and we would do all those cards, those flashcards. the word flashcards like cat, I wouldn't have a picture of a cat, because then they just look at the picture and they just say what it is, and you'll be like, well, you can read, but then when they see the word alone, they don't know what it is. So I did use the pictures for the sounding just because they're just starting. So I really hope this video was helpful. This is definitely what I use to teach my kids to read and kind of start them on a school program at home. Please leave a... I'm coming, sweetie. I'm coming. Please leave a comment if you want to know any questions or anything. Leave me a note if you want to see any other video. And I hope you really enjoyed this. And have a great day, guys. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.